Thank you all. I really appreciate everybody's support and allowing me to participate. I hope you enjoyed my background here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all our holidays. I hope y'all enjoy yourself this time. I'm here in my living room in North Carolina, but it's so great through the power of Zoom. It's easier for us to talk together than it is to go to or see our neighbors. So I'm delighted to be able to participate and interact with you. What I'm going to cover today is really a challenge and hopefully inspire you, enrage you in some ways that there's some things that really need to be fixed. And through together and through mobilizing and getting some maker innovation, we can help achieve and get more people access. What Shweta and your team is doing there is absolutely vital to our world's economy. We have to not only allow those that already have access to 3D printing and all the technology of the future, we also need to lift up others that would never have access to this kind of stuff. And that's why they call me the maker's maker. I am literally going from place to place, exposing people who don't have a membership, who don't have a lot of resources, who don't know exactly all the options that are available to them, and letting them know. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I believe it's so important that we've got to build the next generation of skilled technicians. And because we either drop the future onto them or hand it to them, which would you rather have? We've got to lift these kids up. And I've been honored to work with a group of fifth graders, the youngest batch of kids I've ever dealt with. And I tell you, after COVID and isolation, it has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. So I'm going to go through a quick presentation here, and then I'm going to show you some videos of some of the news coverage that we've had. And then also, as Shweta mentioned, I'll give you an overview, actually a drone view of my mobile makerspace. So let me go pretty quick here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in, and I'll try to answer them when I can. All right, so let me upload. And up here, you see me with my 50-pound hammer that Shweta brought up. This is the first day that I invented it. And then now we've added through a group up in New Jersey, they actually added over 1,000 LEDs to it. And so I've been all over the world or over the United States and trying to get more people involved. And right there, I'm actually showing a prosthetic hand and explaining to kids that a kid about their same age that was born without an arm now has a 3D printed arm. They went from what the kid were calling a freak to now a superhero because now they have the tools to be able to have a hand. Since we're here, most of you are from India, I wanted to pay homage. I had a wonderful visit in India back in 2013 and was really impressed. Not only do we have to introduce those to the new technologies like 3D printing, we also need to preserve some unbelievable skill sets and capabilities that other places have implemented over in 1632 in Agra, India. They built the Taj Mahal, and those same processes of cutting stone using tools, not paint. That is not paint in the middle window. That is the gift shop in Agra at the Taj Mahal. And they literally, each of those different colored items is not paint. That's stone that's been inlaid by the folks there on my right. That's the big boss there is the little guy. But he ran those guys, and literally their fingers went to the bone working on those items. And they're not cheap, but they're very precious because, again, all that's done by hand. The same processes that over 20,000 people made the Taj Mahal back in 1632, and it took them over 20 years and estimated over $1 billion. So it's incredible keepsake that we have, preserving some significant things, and we still need to continue that. Or again, we've seen other major monuments go under. We can't let that happen, and the skill sets as well. So our education's biggest failure is that we expect kids to make decisions based with limited access, limited knowledge, and that what they see on TV, and it's just not effective. We've got to get more experiential education. We've got to, again, 3D printing is the gateway drug to manufacturing. Through that activity, they learn so many transferable skill sets. And if we get a whole bunch more doing this, we can literally open their doors to other jobs that they never would have been able to do otherwise. That's why I'm so passionate about 3D printing. And again, it takes concepts to reality. So, they say follow your passion. Well, if your passion is singing and dancing, you ain't going to get a job. And being a doctor is always needed. But I don't know how many lawyers we actually need in the future. So what we got to do is we got to glorify making. In the United States, we have a big sport called football. And 0.04% of all high school football players actually go pro. So that means not even a percent. 4 in 10,000 actually play pro sports. So this is a maker. This kid up here in the right-hand corner, if you look real closely, the wheels on that make-believe motorcycle is actually lampshades, and he's got his connected with a tennis racket. This kid's imagination made himself a motorcycle, and that's the beginning point for so many of us. When we grow up and we play, we literally grow in so many ways, and it's so important to do that and have imagination and take ideas and make them reality. And, the makers make the world a better place. And so we need to encourage more to become makers. And, the rich do not need to know how to use tools because they can hire the middle class. The poor can't afford the tools, and the training is often more expensive than the tools. So if you want to grow and enrich the middle class, you got to provide easier access to the tools, equipment, and resources. That's what Makerspaces and the whole maker movement's all about. This lady here is literally making wool. She's taking some wool off of a sheep, but also taking hair off of a possum. She found out that that's actually hair from a possum is lighter, stronger, and more water resistant than wool from a sheep. And she's making that with the contraption over here, this loom that her husband made with her foot power. And she charges $200 for that sweater and $40 for the hat that I'm wearing. So I helped build a makerspace in North Carolina. And I go around the country and I coach maker spaces all over the world through Zoom calls and other things. But if you look at the top, that's actually cigar box guitars, where we took items that were going to the trash and turned them into musical instruments. That space on the left was literally where we started from, and it was a dump. And we turned it into really an engine that grew things. And that cop over there is admiring a bicycle that he actually added some lights that are a lot more durable, a lot easier to use than what they were using before. So I've also coached high schools. There's a school that was about to go under. They set up an after-school program, and this is they call it the Shell Eco Marathon competition. And this team was the first inner-city team to ever win the Shell Eco Marathon. They got to hang out with Jay Leno, and they were making cars that were going over 100 miles a gallon. I literally took 3D printed leg lamps. If you've seen the movie The Christmas Story, they talk about leg lamps. Well, I'm in North Carolina. We race everything. So we put 3D printed leg lamps on top of remote control cars. And by the way, remote control cars can teach so many things. I just taught a bunch of kids how to make their own remote control car track. And what we did was, the kids that don't like to listen, they're the biggest disruptors in school. They don't like to listen, so they go do whatever they want, and they cause all kinds of problems. Oftentimes, they're the smartest kids in the school. They just don't pay attention, and again, they cause all kinds of issues. So I let the kids literally drive the car with their back to the course, and they had to listen to a spotter. And the spotters I chose were the kids that don't like to talk. So what was amazing through this exercise, the kid that don't like to listen learned he needed to listen, and the kid that doesn't like to talk learned he needed to talk. And it was a lot better than saying you got to listen and you got to talk. They literally were forced to use those skills, and then they got the confidence to realize that they were pretty good at it. And it helped them, actually, the knuckleheads that wouldn't listen, I actually turned them into leaders, and they were teaching others how to do things. So it's incredible tools. If it all depends on how you use them. But yeah, 3D printing cars and leg lamps, all these things are so empowering. It's just amazing. So in the business world, they're tired of hiring people just based on the interview. They got to see your skill sets. And in North Carolina, there was a city that would literally lived off of making furniture and chairs. You might have heard of them, Thomasville Furniture. Well, that furniture is now made in China. The factory shut down. And so in 10 years, they hadn't made a chair there. Well, I did a pop-up event, and you can see this family from India here on the left working with me. And they literally took this little kid here in the middle and taught him. He's only 6 years old. He learned how to make that chair. And that smile that he got is a lot more powerful than anything you could ever buy at a store. He made that chair. So it's very important to do this. And also, it's so inclusive. We live in times where people are pushing each other away. They're segregating. And that's not good. We can learn so much by working together and getting things mobilized. And it was just amazing. The mayor loved this project. It really shot the energy up in that community. And you see that little kid at the bottom, he's down there making the chair. So right here is the coolest gadget. This is, believe it or not, you're seeing the prototype of the future of racing. This is, you can see the 3D printed shark fins. Those are the model cars. And a friend of mine, this is his backyard and, or his back porch. And he literally has that connected to the internet. In the future, when y'all do a program, we can actually have a competition and where you can actually control those cars, and we can have a little race, so to speak, and you can drive those cars over the internet. So it's a combination of the video game and the internet, and you can 3D print custom designed shells for each car. So that's the future right there. And in fact, I'm going to be meeting with some famous folks in the United States that do racing as it is now and show them the future of racing. I mean, I know people would pay for the chance to race a car that's in real life. Those are real life cars. That isn't some animation. So it's going to be really interesting future that we have available to us. But it's so important to build these skills. Oh, by the way, this is, I know Shweta does this. You can scan people's heads in and make statues of them and make keepsakes. I 3D printed my aunt and uncle who were 80 years old, and it was awesome to be able to do that. Over here on the right is 3D printed pancakes. That's the bat shield there. And got a little messy, but you can see you can 3D print all kinds of stuff. And again, have on April Fool's Day, April 1st, you can have inventors liftoffs. Because inventors are called fools when they first get started, and once they start making money, they are called geniuses. You can host what I call technology tailgate parties. When you combine food and technology together, you get a lot of attention, and 3D printing pancakes, people love that. And you can even drop, drones can drop tacos from the sky. I did that this year and had 70 tacos. Now that restaurant still gets calls from the community asking for drone delivery of tacos flying out of the sky. And now's a great time to start making other stuff for other folks. With the supply chain issues and everything, it's quite a challenge to get what you need. But again, the skill sets developed in the maker world help you help the other world, our older world, fix things and make things, because we've got to maintain what we have as we're trying to invent the new things. And this, you can see this water valve. That valve is pretty important. If it doesn't work, you can't get water to the fire suppression systems, and you burn up. So the Society scorns excellence in plumbing because plumbing is a humble activity, and tolerate shoddiness in philosophy because philosophy is an exalted activity. We'll have neither good plumbing nor good philosophy. Neither is pipes nor theories will hold water. So you can see I've been to Taj Mahal, and yeah, I'm a big guy. And but it's amazing. We've got to keep things going. We've got to keep what we've done, our precious items working, and our new items developed. And I'm going to show you now a quick overview. I don't know how much more time I got, but I'm going to show you a quick overview of my mobile makerspace and a couple little videos. So this is solar powered. I can literally run for 2 hours off of this, and this has a CNC, a laser, and 3D printers built in. And you can see me showing you right now. On the left is a CNC, computer numerical control machine. All auto parts, car parts, airplane parts are made. The green thing there is the laser, and on the back was the 3D printer. So it's amazing the reaction we're getting out there from folks. And if you're interested and would like to have a mobile makerspace, I am working with the World Bank, and we're going to be trying to get lots of money donated. Yeah, that's my Thorminator that Shweta was talking about 19,000 people have picked that up. It's got over 1,000 LEDs in it, and that's my little Thorminator dance for you. So here is a story about my journey, and I'm going to give you
This may look like someone's taking a photo of a girl holding a hammer, but there's actually a lot more to it. Joel Leonard bought this trailer last spring so he could take his program on the road, teaching children living in rural or underserved communities manufacturing and life skills.
Your future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.
He says with the push to expand the manufacturing industry in North Carolina, these kids right here, the next generation, have to be given the proper tools to set them up for success.
It's been my life's mission, is to build the next generation of skilled technicians.
So at this stop in High Point, he's teaching these students how to make a photo collage using a laser engraving machine.
Let's take a couple of pictures here so we can upload and start making some stuff.
Once the children take
I don't know why they chose a hot dog, but that's what they wanted.
How to use the laser machine in the trailer.
They're really small, you gotta look real close.
Leonard is showing 11-year-olds Alexa Ponce how to upload these photos to the computer to make a collage. And then once it's ready, the machine uses its laser to create the collage on the wood.
I just learned how to use a laser printer.
Go as these skills could lead to careers.
When they start realizing there's money that they could be making, it's really gratifying.
Remember the hammer we saw earlier? The picture comes to life on this wooden board. The experience has Alexa already thinking about her future.
It's good information for future jobs, and what I like about it is that you can do anything with photos.
Leonard makes it fun and rewarding for these children.
You are definitely a winner in my book. Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Because Leonard says these kids are extremely smart, so when given the right tools, he emphasizes they will have a bright future.
This is my future. I mean, this is my retirement plan. I'll be doing this the rest of my life.
And off he goes, continuing to inspire the next generation to plan for their futures.
So I'm not sure how we're doing for time. So this is my most recent activity.
Across the Piedmont.
And this happened, we just did our ribbon cutting.
For community across the Piedmont, companies are facing a real challenge to find people, not just employees, though. Some new high-tech machines often require specialized training, and it's getting harder and harder to attract those workers. Now, though, as Fox 8's Brad Jones shows us, there's an effort to work with the next generation to teach them how to create products that are made in North Carolina.
It looks like a class of kids out on the playground, but this is their playground because they're building it.
They're getting involved in designing. They're getting involved in development. They're building things. They're making things. And most importantly, they're learning to maintain it.
Joel Leonard normally works with major companies, showing them how to develop a skilled workforce. Now he's teaching these fifth graders at URA Charter Academy Middle School lessons that will pay off when they start looking for a job.
They're not just going to pass a test. They're going to have life skills. They're going to have job skills.
Leonard is working with their teacher, Gabriel Moore, as part of his STEAM class. They cleared a space for the mini golf course. Now they're designing their own obstacles. It takes creativity.
Give work a chance.
And lots of collaboration.
This may be fun and game for these students, but it's serious business for manufacturers here in Asheboro and all across the Southeast. They're going to be looking for employees who are skilled in technology and really motivated, which is exactly what these kids will be when they get out of school.
They're having so much fun they don't even realize they're learning.
Strengthen our workforce development skills even at the fifth grade. And fifth grade is a perfect age. I love these kids. They're receptive, and they work hard.
You can see the thought process that goes into this, giving students the chance to start from scratch and create something, then try it out. And if it doesn't work, make changes and try again.
We're going to start in like the bottom middle. It's going to go up down to the top middle somewhere. There's like two blocks, and they're really skinny. Like they're really close together, and then you can hit it and it bounces off the one wood thing into another, and then there's a center block on top of the other blocks, and it's kind of like you can't see where you have to like shoot and stuff, and then it'll get part of the center block and part of another one.
This is just one class in one school. Think about what a difference it would make to have students in every school learning workforce skills. Just watching the fun has a lot of other kids talking about it.
Super excited. I have my other kids in my regular classes that are, Mr. Moore, I want to take their STEAM class next year. So I think they're doing it, and it's just a ball.
The class has turned these students into makers, creators, who realize they can work together to develop solutions.
The neat thing about this whole process of building a multi-purpose playground is the payoff. The payoff is the opportunity to play. So they got a lot of motivation, and it's their place. They're designing it. They're making it work, and they're taking ownership of it.
Mr. Moore's class at URA Charter Academy is a lot of fun, but it also shows how much potential these students have and how the maker's maker, Joel Leonard, is helping the community by creating the kind of skilled workforce that will pay off for everyone in the years ahead. In Asheboro, Brad Jones, Fox 8 News.
And the students will show off their course to some special visitors from the city and even play a game of mini golf. Now, as for Joel Leonard, he says he looks forward to expanding the program and eventually getting more schools involved in the same type of learning. You can find out more by going to his website.
So that gets you an overview of what I've been doing. And I'm in the process now of planning out 2022, and we'll be working with groups to get them developed and set up other programs. So I hope I hope you enjoyed that. And again, I'm able to field any questions that you have and help you all in helping you grow you to develop your own systems to get the word out, teach people how to 3D print, teach people how to use CNCs. And then also I've been teaching kids how to read maps. If we lose our satellites, which Russia's been threatening, who knows? We might not be able to use GPS in the future. We might have to use a map again. So it's important to teach the old skills and the new skills together. And again, anybody that wants to set up a mobile makerspace, reach out to me. I'll put my email address in here so that you got it. And I'll be more than happy to try to help you get into this proposal we're putting into the World Bank and get several $1 million allocated to set this up all over the world. We're talking to India. I mean, not India yet. I'd like to. We're talking to Africa. We're talking to Moldova. We're talking to Iceland. And again, what I'm doing, I love it. I mean, it's the best medicine I've ever had after being in isolation, working with a bunch of young minds. Even the knuckleheads that don't like to listen, I've been having fun working with them and getting them to become leaders.
All right. Let's have one quick question since we are running out of time, Joel. So, would you like to take up just one question from Javadi? It says, what would be the easiest and best way to laterally navigate from materials in 3D printing in a hacker way, like pancakes to metal or to mud or to the PLA printers?
Well, the easiest way to do that, I'm not sure the answer to that. They're building custom designed 3D printers for each one of those. I mean, whether you're using pancake batter, which again, it's just a different way of pouring the items, or you're making houses out of concrete, or using metal. A metal, you have to have a very high temperature in order to melt the metal. So that's not an easy answer, but there are becoming more and more 3D printers. And again, as the more of these get developed and the technology advances, the cost is going to come down. Now, if you got the capability of inventing your own, hey, more power to you. That guy invented one to make pancakes. So it can be done. It just might not necessarily be easy. So 2020 showed that makers can step up. Makers did something really incredible. In World War II, we needed to evacuate thousands of people from France into England, and they mobilized the anybody that owned a ship was told to go to Dunkirk and pick up as many people as possible and take them across. In 2020, makers were told, and Shweta was one of them, to take your 3D printers and make face shields and make masks and make all these items. It is so important that we all do that, and we need to do that more. And I see that others want to put some questions. I'll be in the networking section, so you're more than happy to meet with me and talk to me there, and I'll talk to anybody else. But let's keep on making and keep things going. Thank you all.